Hello everyone, I Syed Nawaz. I welcome back you to my YouTube channel Petroleum Universe. So in today's video we are going to discuss the third and final part of matrices, and in this part we are going to discuss the thing is determinant. So though we have many definitions regarding determinant, but I would like to tell you some of the definitions a matrix with the same number of rows and columns, and one can capture important information about a matrix in just a single number, is said to be a determinant. And apart from that, it is also used for solving linear equations and to capture how linear transformations changes the area or volume, and also changes various variables in an integrals. Okay, and you can also see that the function whose input is in square matrix and whose output is in single number, right? So that is considered to be an determinant. Apart from these definitions what I just said you, let us see what definition is wrote over here. Let A1, A2, let A1, A11, A12, A21 and A22 be four numbers, then symbol delta is equal to determinant of A11, A12, A21, A22 represent the number as A11 into A22 minus of A12 into A21, called as determinant of order 2 by 2 matrix. So let us see the example for it. What I just mean to say is, if you just do an operation like, let us consider this A11, A12 and up to A22 as number as A, B, C and D, then you can simply say that AD minus BC will give you the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so let us see the example for that. Let us have a matrix 2 by 2 matrix whose numbers are 4, 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, then determinant of that matrix will be like 4 into 4, which is nothing but A into D minus B into C. Okay, 3 into 2. So that will give you a final number as the determinant 10. So here you can see an input is in square matrix and finally you got an output as a number. Okay, so now let us see what will be the minor of a minor matrix. So here in above you have seen that we have find the determinant of 3 by 3 matrix, right? So if this 3 by 3 matrix has changed its orders to order to 3 by 3 matrix, so how we have to calculate that determinant? Okay, so let us see. So let us consider that you are taking A11 as a number, means minor of A11. Or else I took a here minor of A32, right? So I have to eliminate the third row, which means I have to eliminate this row and I have to eliminate second column. Okay, so remaining four numbers what I am getting over here is said to be a minor of 32, third row and second column. Okay, so even when you calculate the 3 by 3 matrix determinant, then you will perform the same operation as you will consider one row as to be the minor of all the determinants. Okay, sorry, minor of all the matrices. So you can see over here, if I am considering the A11, then I should eliminate this first column and the first row. Okay, then the remaining numbers will be these four, right? So that is called a minor of A11. Similarly, if you consider the minor of A12, then you have to eliminate the second column and you have to eliminate the first row. Then the remaining rows and columns will be A21, A31, A23, A33, right? So that is said to be a minor of A12. Similarly, if you consider for A13, then that will give you the whole determinant, the determinant of a whole matrix, right? I hope you understood. Then after that, if you even consider that what I'm going to say is regarding cofactor. So cofactor is nothing but it's a minor of element is multiplied with minus I to the power I plus j, minus 1 to the power I plus j, where I is the position of row and j is the position of a column, right? So that is considered to be a cofactor of a minor, right? So let us see. First we have a matrix A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have to find a minor of 8, 2, 3 and also its cofactor, right? So first I am going to find the minor of 8, 2, 3, which is nothing but 8, 2 means the first I have to eliminate second row and then I have to eliminate third column. So what number which I remain with? 1 and 4 and 3 and 6. Okay. So here you can see the first I have identified the minor of a matrix. Okay, 8, 2, 3. Then if you are applying this particular operation to that minor, like this particular operation to that minor, then that is considered to be a cofactor. So let us see how we have applied over here. So minus 1 to the power, we have a second row like 2 and we have 3 as a column, so third column. So minus 1 to the power 2 plus 3 minus which gives you minus to the power 5, minus 1 to the power 5, which is obviously minus 1. So if you multiply that minus inside the matrix, then that will give you a cofactor of a matrix. So whenever you are finding a 3 by 3 matrix determinant, so you have to apply both of this operation to each and every minor. Okay. So you can see over here, before applying cofactor, if you find the determinant for this, then that will give you a minus 6. Okay, like 1 into 6 is nothing but 6 minus 3 into 4, 12. So minus 12. 6 minus 12 will give you minus 6. So here you would have seen that the cofactor, even after you applied a cofactor, the minor determinant have been not changed. Okay. Okay, so let us see the properties of determinant. So properties of determinant is like the value of determinant does not change when the rows and columns are being interchanged. So you have to remember this, that if the value, if you are even transforming the matrix, like over here we have A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's in 3 by 3 matrix. If you just apply a transpose operation to this, like rows change into columns, even after the transpose operation, if you find the determinant of both A and A transpose, then the determinant value won't have any change. Okay, so let us consider the second. Let us see the second property. If any row or column of matrix is 0, then the matrix determinant is 0. Yes, that is true. Even you can find this question in many exams of GATE in many different branches. Like if you have any, over here we have one column as 0, okay, or else if it would have been one row as 0, then the whole determinant of then the determinant of whole matrix will be equal to 0. Okay, so now let us see the third property. If any two rows or two columns of a determinant are interchanged, then the value of determinant is multiplied by minus 1. Yes, you have to keep in mind that if any two rows or columns of determinant are interchanged, it means that it doesn't mean that you have to apply a transpose, when you are applying a transpose operation, then you have to multiply it with minus 1. It says you that if you are changing this column 1 with column 3, like at the place of 0, 0, 0, if you have 7, 8, 9, and obviously at the place of 7, 8, 9, if you have 0, 0, 0, then we are interchanging two columns. Then here you have to apply a minus sign when you are going to find the determinant. Okay, right. So the fourth property is like if all elements of one row or column of a determinant are multiplied by same number k as a scalar, then the value of determinant is k times the value of the given determinant. Right. If you consider this value, if you consider this 3 by 3 matrix, and if you just do one thing, you should multiply this matrix with any number whatever you like. Okay, then you should find its determinant. Then once you find the determinant, you can notice that the answer what you got the value of determinant as, it will be a multiple of that particular number what you have multiplied to this particular matrix. Okay, so now let us see the fifth property. If A be n row square matrix, k be any n scalar, then determinant of k into A will give you k power n into determinant of A. Let us consider we have n row square matrix, means we have a 3 row square matrix, means 3 by 3 matrix. right? And if you are having any kind of scalar to that, then you can notice that scalar to the power 3 will into determinant. What I mean to say, if you find a determinant of that particular matrix including scalar multiplied with every number, then that determinant value will be equal to k power n into determinant of A. Okay, so you just have to remember these properties, because in GATE he may ask you even the properties from anywhere. Okay, so because of that reason only I am just mentioning the properties, or else I would have take some problems and I would have explained you, but it is very good I'm explaining this. Okay, so now let us see the sixth property, that is determinant of AB is equal to determinant of A into determinant B. So based on this following property, they have given you two other properties. Like let us suppose if you have a matrix of 3 by 3, okay, or else you have a determinant value with some power n or n rows, then that will be equal to the determinant of A individually, and then if you apply n power to the power determinant to the power n, then that will give you the same value as A power n determinant. Okay, and obviously everyone knows this. Means as I'm saying, I have solved this before, because of that I can say that if you're first you're finding A inverse, then if you're finding a determinant of that, then that will be equal to 1 by determinant of A. Okay, right, so let us see the last property. A into adjoint of A is equals to determinant of A into identity matrix. So I hope you remember what is identity matrix. It means that all principal diagonal elements will be 1 and rest of the numbers will be 0. Okay, so based on this we have two properties. It is like adjoint of A is equal to determinant of A to the power n minus 1, right? And if you have adjoint of A, that will give you determinant to the power n minus 1 square value, right? So now let us see what this determinant is. Right, now let us see what this adjoint of a square matrix. So before this I have explained you regarding cofactor. Okay, so once you got a cofactor, let us suppose you have find every cofactor of every individual number of a matrix. Then after that obviously you will make a matrix and name it as cofactor of matrix A. Then that cofactor of a matrix A, if it is getting transpose, then that transpose of co-matrix is said to be an adjoint of square matrix or adjoint of that particular matrix, right? So if you need this definition, then write in comments, that then I will give you an example for adjoint of a square matrix or any other explanation regarding the topics what I have explained in this video and in previous videos. Okay, so now let us see what are the properties of a adjoint. So adjoint of A into A will give you A into adjoint of A is equals to mod of determinant of n into n. So I hope you understood this one. Like if you have an adjoint of A into A will be equal to A into adjoint, then that is equals to determinant of A into identity matrix of n order n. Okay, so now let us see what will be an inverse of a matrix. The only condition for to find the inverse of a matrix is the determinant of a matrix should not be equal to 0, which means that inverse of a matrix should not be a singular matrix. Okay, then only you can find an A inverse. So we have a formula called A inverse is equals to adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. So adjoint of A, I have said you here that adjoint of A will be equal to cofactor transpose. Okay, and obviously you know the determinant of A, which is nothing but 2 by 2 matrix if we have, then AD minus BC. Then if we have 3 by 3 matrix, then first we have to find the minor of a matrix. Then we have to convert that minor into cofactor. Yes, so that will be an end of an to find the determinant. Okay, so now let us consider the properties of an square matrix. That is nothing but A into A inverse will be equal to I, and A inverse into A will always this all three terms will be equal to each other. If you multiply that particular matrix with its inverse, then it will give you a identity matrix. Same with inverse operation. If it will give A means if you multiply A inverse into A, then that also will give you an identity matrix. Now let us consider the second matrix, that if A and B are inverse of each other, right? If A and B are inverse of each other, then only we can say that if we multiplied A into B, then that will be equal to B into A, and obviously these two matrices will be equal to an identity matrix. Okay, right. So now let us consider the third property. Like we have seen in every other property in the previous videos, it's a very basic property that if A into B to the power inverse, which will give you B inverse into A inverse. Then if you consider the three matrices, then it will be C inverse into B inverse into A inverse. Okay, and regarding inverse, we have another property called if A transpose whole power inverse is always equals to A inverse to the power transpose, right? So I hope you remember theta, that theta operation is nothing but first we have to apply a conjugate operation, then transpose of that conjugate, right? So if you find A inverse of a matrix, then if you apply a conjugate and transpose, then that will be equals to a conjugate transpose to the inverse, to the power inverse, right? Okay. So at last we have a property of 2 by 2 matrix, finding a 2 by 2 matrix inverse. What I said you even before, that if 2 by 2 matrix we have, then the inverse of that will be 1 by AD minus BC into D minus B minus C A. Okay. So let us see the next page, which is nothing but the rank of a matrix. Actually, this rank of a matrix is very simple. As you can see over here, that you can find the rank of any matrix regardless of an order. Means if you have an unsquare, means rectangular matrix, then also you can find the square rank of that matrix. The only condition is that we have classified the rank into 3, like rank 1, rank 2 and rank 3 of a matrix. If and only if we have a rank as 1, then it should be noticed that the determinant of A should be equal to 0 and minor of all A's. Okay, minor of all element in A should be equal to 0. If these two conditions satisfies, then the rank of A is equal to 1. Okay, then if rank of A is equals to 2, if and only if determinant of A should be equal to 0, and if we have any minor of number of a matrix A which is not equal to 0, then that particular matrix is considered to be a rank of order 2. Okay, we have a second rank to that particular matrix. And at last, means when will be the rank of a matrix is equal to 3? It will be only if the determinant of complete matrix is not equal to 0, then you can consider that the rank of a matrix is 3, right? So this you can apply to any order of a matrix, but I wrote here rank of A is equals to n. Okay, so let us make you understand by an example what I wrote over here. Like A is equals to -1 -3 3 -1 1 1 -1 0 2 -5 2 -3 -1 1 0 and 1. So I am applying a row transformation method over here. Like I'm just trying to make this matrix to look as in echelon form. So echelon form is nothing but the upper triangular matrix elements should be 0. Okay, it should be an upper triangular matrix. So in previous video you can see what is an upper triangular and what is a lower triangular matrix. So upper triangular matrix is nothing but I should be equal to J. I should be greater than J. So here you can see that it's in second row but in first column, this 0, and this 0 is in third row and first column, fourth row and first column. So here you can see I is greater than J. So if we have a particular matrix whose which is in echelon form, then the non-zero rows, then the number of non-zero rows of that final echelon form of matrix will give you the rank of a matrix. Like over here we have one non-zero, second non-zero row, and third non-zero row, and fourth non-zero row. So here you can see we have 4 non-zero rows over here. Then the rank of a matrix RA is equals to 4. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Apart from this, if you have even 5 by 5 or 5 by 4 matrix, then if we have 5 non-zero rows, then the rank of a matrix is 5, which is very rare. So you can consider that a rank of a matrix up to 4 you can consider. Okay, although you have to remember the rule what I said you, that number of non-zero rows will give you the rank of a matrix, right? So what I even wrote here, that rank of a matrix is equal to n if there are n non-zero rows in an echelon form of a matrix. Okay, right. So let us see the next one, the properties of a rank. So let us consider that you have a matrix A. The rank of that particular matrix will be always equals to, if you multiply, if you transpose that matrix, and then if you have find the transpose rank of that, then both ranks will be equal. Okay, right. Then the next property is like rank of a matrix is the number of non-zero rows in its echelon form. What I have explained you just before, that rank of a matrix, rank of this particular matrix is 4. How? First we have changed that matrix into echelon form, then we have seen that how many non-zero rows are there, then that particular non-zero rows is nothing but my rank of a matrix, right? So till now in 5 years GATE question papers, we have 2 questions which appears from this matrices syllabus. The first one is the 19th question from 2017 GATE exam. The question is, for the 2 matrices X is equal to 1 4 2 5 3 6 and Y is equals to 7 8 0 minus 1. So he is asking the product of Y into X will be, okay. And the second question he has asked from GATE 2016, the question number is 2. The inverse of a matrix the inverse of a matrix 1 1 and 3 2 is, right? So let us see the answer for that. So first I wrote the answer of second question over here. Okay, so let us see. Like I have shown you the property of A inverse, that if you're finding an inverse of 2 by 2 matrix, then it should be 1 divided by AD minus BC, D minus B minus C, and A. Okay, so now let us see. Okay, I just wrote over here. So the matrix is like 1 3 and 1 and 2. So first I applied a 1 divided by AD minus BC, which is nothing but 1 into 2 minus 1 into 3. Okay, then D minus B minus C and A. So here D is 2, I wrote 2 in the place of A, right? Then this 3 have been changed to minus 3, and this one have been changed to minus 1, and over here I should write A value, then the A value over here is 1. Okay, so I have 1. So after simplifying this, I got the answer as A inverse equal to minus 2, 3, 1 and minus 1. So let us see what the answer is for this particular question. So first we have 2, 3, 1 and 1, minus 2, 1, 3, minus 1. Then finally we have minus 2, 3, 1 and minus 1. So this answer what we have find over here. Okay, so option B is the correct answer, right? So now let us see the answer for the first question, the multiplication of 2 matrices Y into X. So before this we have to see that the number of rows in Y, the number of columns in Y should be equal to number of rows in X. So here we have number of column is equals to 2, okay, and here we have number of rows as equals to 2. So here you can say that the multiplication is compatible for Y and X. So I'm just multiplying that this particular row is multiplied first with this particular column, right? Similarly with the same column should be multiplied with the same row should be multiplied with every other column in the second matrix, and we have to apply the same operation with the second row with every particular column as I multiplied over here, and finally I got the answer as 7, 14, 21, 4, 11 and 18. And after this, once you see the order of this matrix, which is nothing but 2 rows, okay, so and 3 columns. If you see over here, the 2 rows means here we have 2 rows, okay, means the order of Y matrix is 2 rows, and we have 3 columns of a matrix X. So I hope you understood this one. So that's an end of our matrices. If you like this video, just hit like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't need to study any other extra topic for petroleum engineering. This is an end of a matrices. So in next video we are going to see some of the numerical problems which appears in GATE petroleum engineering previous years, or else you can suggest me for any particular topic to explain me, even apart from numerical. Okay, so if you like this video, just hit like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel Petroleum Universe, and you can use my comment box to give any suggestion, comments or else the request. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe and bye bye.